Even if they said, "Hey, Lon, break this news, please." Literally, the family themselves, "Hey, Lon, please break this news." I'd be like, "No, I'm not gonna give Bama some type of, you know, blueprint or playbook of how to attack someone. No, 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 no. We don't play that." And you're gonna see if someone in the media does break that news, how little they really care about LSU. But besides of you just Makai Wingo, if you were just if you were just without Makai Wingo ahead of Alabama, it would be difficult. It would be tough. Alabama probably be able to sustain a running game, but you wouldn't be out of it necessarily, right? Right? That makes some sense, right? Well, you were absolutely decimated in the secondary. You have absences with Denver Harris, Deuce Chestnut, who are like not even on the team. Like they're on the team, supposedly according to Brian Kelly, they're on scholarship. They're not playing, they're not practicing. Obviously, there's some type of pseudo suspension, something going on like that. Very strange. But I think you would expect to see it, probably Denver Harris at least this week, right? It would be insane to not see him this week. It would be insane. But it's you got those guys missing. You also got J.K. Johnson missing from injury this offseason, all right? So he's been gone this whole time. But now you're probably your best defensive back all season. 7 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. I know he's allowed some touchdowns, but he's played really well while getting targeted far more than anybody else. Zy Alexander, he goes down he gets that interception, which is basically like a punt, and he starts trying to return it. And I'm usually not someone who says go down. Usually I'm like, score a defensive touchdown no matter what it takes, because I just know how much that propels a team and how much that propels a defense. But at that point, just go down, man. Tries to return it in vain, gets hurt, and Kelly's saying that, it's very, very, very doubtful whether we will see Zy Alexander in this game. Makai Wingo, I will guarantee you right here, right now, we will see some form of Makai Wingo in this game. He's not gonna sit out this game. I know Makai. I've known him since he first transferred to LSU. Know him very well. Know his mom as well. I know what that kid's made of. There's no way he's sitting out this game. Makai Wingo will take some part of this game. I don't know how much. I'm not claiming to be of some profit, but this dude is a stud and an absolute destroyer. He is going to gut through it and play, and probably look close to 90% because he's had that time off. I really wouldn't doubt it if he looked fresh, which just sounds crazy, right? But I just could see Makai Wingo looking okay this game for some reason. I could just see him being still in tip-top shape. But man, it's been LSU are literally decimated at corner. That's the spot that really worries me, because you got Zy Alexander gone as well. You got Denver Harris. Who knows if he's even going to be there? Deuce Chestnut. Who knows? You've already lost J.K. Johnson. And so now, literally, Brian Kelly is talking about going with freshmen. Javian Toviano, moving Sage Ryan from perhaps nickel to outside boundary corner. Jeremiah Hughes was also in that discussion, so you'd probably have Hughes and at one boundary spot with his length, utilizing his length and his good boundary tackling ability, and then possibly put Sage Ryan either at nickel or boundary corner, whichever one you really feel is the matchup, and then you move Javian Toviano out there and you play him all game. Like you've got to like stick with those three guys. Like I really do think if Ashton Stamps though is healthy, you've got to play Stamps. Got to put Stamps in there. Even Stamps is just coming off an injury. Stamps has an outside chance of making this game. He might be good for this game. He might not. So we're probably going to see him playing 50%. You also have an option in Ryan Yates who can do this. Ryan Yates can definitely play corner. He's done spots of that a lot of times in spring and fall camp, but then also he's done that a ton throughout his career in high school. So I just it's just crazy though, because really Jaden Daniels might have to play a perfect game because Jalen Milroe might have opportunities to make plays in the passing game that he's never had all season because of what our defensive secondary could look like. Then again, I almost got to say that I almost wouldn't be shocked if LSU's secondary were awesome because they finally just like stuck with a few guys, let them play man, let them like battle like their backs are against the cliff, really. Not like their backs are against the wall, but against the cliff. And they're like battling for their lives, battling for their season, battling for their quarterback to continue his Heisman push. Because you and I know they're just waiting for LSU to lose this game to like get rid of Jaden Daniels for the Heisman. And the Heisman's not the number one thing that matters, right? It's about winning the SEC, winning the college football playoff, the national championship. But if you're in the position to do all that, the Heisman, the Blitnikoff will take care of themselves already. Malik will be winning the Blitnikoff. Ryan Thomas Jr. will be nominated. Harold Perkins winning the Butkus. Mekhi Wingo winning what's the defensive line trophy? Nagurski, yeah, there we go. Or is it the Bednarik? Yeah, the Chuck Bednarik, yeah. And the Bronco Nagurski, I think, right? I think, yeah, probably the Nagurski and the Bednarik give him to him. And then you got a few different guys at LSU for their offensive line who are up for the Outland Trophy. You know, Charles Turner's up there. He's already won it one week. Emory Jones has been an SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. And then, of course, Will Campbell is just a pillar of consistency. I mean, the game he had multiple flags, everyone was like, that guy can be penalized? What? So there's so many, the Joe Moore Award as well for the offensive line. There's so many different possibilities here for LSU to make this a really special season here. And it can go all out the window if we let these injuries take over our secondary, ruin our game plan, let Jalen Milroe go off. And I don't even think he really has to go 300, 400 yards passing against us to beat us. He could just find little alleys, little entryways into our secondary in which to run. Ooh, like there's a huge 30, 40-yard gap. Boom, he's off, That's what I think we'll see. And we've got to be able to stop that. We've got to be able to contain this dude. Containment is everything. Jalen Milroe is going to get his yards. We have to contain Alabama's points. We have to contain their ability to continue. Like we cannot let Alabama get rolling in this game. And we've got so many injuries all over the field. It is worrying. It is. I mean, Alabama's defense is better than their offense. We'll put it that way. They're a defensive-led team, and their offense is very complementary at times. But their defense, without some of our guys in the secondary, that you at least felt like Zy Alexander is going to battle. Jermaine Burton could have a game. McClellan, if he can get in there, he could have a good game. Malik Benson, who we had tried to go after, he could be fantastic for them. But looking at their Isaiah Bond has 360 yards and 3 touchdowns. Amari Niblack, 218, 3 touchdowns. Kobe Prentice, 1 receiving touchdown. Jalen Hill, 1 receiving touchdown, 60. Like, they really haven't done much in the passing game. Only 1,758 yards. You've seen how abjectly terrible their quarterbacking has been, whoever it's been. I can't even name the other few guys. They're so terrible, some of those quarterbacks. Um, Ty Simpson, my God, that guy was terrible. Kyler Buckner was like watching a blooper reel from the 90s, like, oh my God, what are we seeing here? This is like blasphemy to football. It's just terrible. And so when they finally went back, okay, we kind of sent Jalen Milroe a message while still winning games, just like Alabama always does, still winning games while just, Jalen, you got to get your shit together. And now their fate coming in to face LSU, we're having to go into their place. We're having to go on the road to Tuscaloosa, although every time LSU won a national championship, we had to win a game at Alabama on the road, 4 times in Tuscaloosa, 1 time in Mobile. So LSU have done this every time they've won a national championship. But the margin for error is so razor thin in this game. Every target, every catch, every non-pass breakup, every penalty for pass interference, everything could be huge with this secondary facing all these injuries, and you're going to literally be putting out guys who've played mostly special team snaps and then some filler, garbage time snaps against Grambling and against Army. It is very worrying. I mean, I'm sure you're going to see a few guys who you're worried about gut it out and be there to play in this game. But at the same time, every season there's always another surprising injury before this game, or a guy you thought would be able to go and he still can't. You're gonna see it again. And LSU's injuries just continue to mount. With all these guys out, I just it definitely changes the outlook of the entire game. Because if you still have Zai Alexander and Mekhi Wingo out there, they're probably going to be like, you know, expect Zai Alexander to be like 50%. I expect Mekhi Wingo to be like 80%. It's just how much will these injuries allow them to affect the game? How much will they be able to affect the game with the dealing with these injuries, playing through injury? Ashton Stamps is someone we're going to probably need to play in the secondary. This is an all hands on deck situation against Alabama. This game's going to go into the fourth quarter, maybe even to overtime. It's going to be another barn burner against Alabama. Our offense simply cannot be outscored. And so the only way that anyone can contend against us is this type of situation where our defense, which was already bad but improving, now loses key guys across the field. Plus, the team, the defensive coordinator Matt House loves Omar Spates. He has a very special kinship and bond with Omar Spates going back for a long time here. When he recruited him in like 2017, he wants Omar Spates to run the defense over Whit Weeks. Being there to kind of support with his speed Harold Perkins and unleash Harold Perkins. And I don't know how much I feel that's going to work. Yes, Omar Spates looked better because we're playing against Auburn, Army, two abjectly terrible defenses. I mean, terrible offenses. But those terrible offenses, we should have kept them under 20 points. We should have kept them under 10 points. Okay? The shutout was awesome against Army. I'll take a shutout any day of the week, especially in modern day college football. But I feel like this defensive staff are trusting in Matt House is trusting in Omar Spates just a little too much. And I think these games have kind of been a false flag advertisement for what he can do. We got to see a rotation there, at least. Play both of them, Omar and Whit Weeks. Play them both. Because I think Whit Weeks' speed, his tackling ability, his ability in the passing game as well. Not as good as his brother West in coverage. West is really damn good linebacker in coverage, but he's the full package, and so he can still make up the ground and get into the area for a pick or for a pass breakup. And that's what we're gonna see a lot of. Jalen Milroe is gonna exploit our secondaries, shit in the pants, you know, having to change our pants after the first quarter type of craziness, type of confusion, and turn it into maybe not 40, 45-yard bombs down the field like we would do to a team like this, but maybe Jalen Milroe is just gutting us for like 5, 10-yard passes to tight ends, to running backs, to a few to the receivers. And then most of the time he's really just running and getting large chunks of yards and just death by 1,000 cuts that way. And you wear down some of the guys on our team who are injured specifically even more doing it that way. Obviously, you just take the points however you can get the points. But I'm just saying, if Alabama offensively can really, like, death of 1,000 cuts, wear us down with these long drives, I can't see guys being that effective dealing with big-time injuries. But then again, Jordan Jefferson is there in the interior as well. Jordan Jefferson is fantastic. An absolute beast of every opponent's burden. Second in the team in tackles for loss at 4.5. Him, Braden Swinson have to have large roles in this game. And I think you've seen Matt House understand that finally, that I've got to play Swinson. I got to play him a lot. I got to play him a lot more. And Ovie Ogofu had a strip and then a recovery that looked brilliant. It was a great play. It's just I don't really think we can trust some of these guys fully like maybe Matt House believes we can. This is a game where we should just rotate everybody. Stick to a core lineup, but have a strong rotation. Know when guys need a break and you need to get fresh legs in there. And it's all about matchups too. Find the right matchups. And there are matchups all over Alabama's front that LSU can exploit, even if Wingo is out. This offensive line for Alabama, everyone was making a big deal about how much they weighed before the season. And I'm kind of looking at people and I'm kind of like, that's not really a good thing in modern college football. Like maybe in the 90s that was a good thing. Like, yeah, we're fatter than everyone else. Yeah, we weigh more. I get it, muscle weighs more than fat, but you've seen it. Alabama's offensive line have been terrible for the most part. And they're kind of coming into their own a little bit here. But just not really running the ball that well. Not really affecting the game as much as they could as an offensive line. And I mean, let's look at some of the blocking stats right here. How many sacks have they allowed? They've allowed 21 sacks. 21 sacks, 12 hits, 45 hurries. And some of these names are big time, like J.C. Latham. And of course, the Brockermeyer brothers. Yeah, I remember them. James Brockermeyer, only 2 games. Where's Connor Brockermeyer? I don't even see him on there. Did he? They're a team that I have no problem admitting I don't know shit about Alabama's intricacies of their team right now. Like I'm just fine admitting that. I know some of their stuff. I've watched a lot of their games this season. I watched the Texas game. I watched the Tennessee game. Um, but this is Alabama. In the end, I don't really give a shit. It's more about LSU going into this game and how much that's going to matter. Still interesting to look at, the rushing stats because, of course, Jace McClellan, running back, 4 touchdowns, 567 yards. He leads the way there. Roydell Williams has been good, 339, but just 1 touchdown. But interestingly, 219 after contact. McClellan has 38 missed tackles forced. That's extremely impressive. I think that's right in line with what we have with Jaden Daniels and Logan Diggs. Let's take a look at that. 38 for him. How many for our guys? Jaden Daniels only has 28. Logan Diggs only has 18. So 38 from McClellan, like shit. We might have some trouble against this running game after contact. Get them down. Hold them. If you can't get them down, hold them. Like so many times this season, I've seen our guys go for these kill shots when they're not even at an angle to do it. It's like just wrap them and use your weight, collapse on them as you go down. They're going to go down with you. Like they might be able to break it for a second, but even while you're doing that, that's going to make someone come over and just knock the shit out of him because then he'll be a sitting duck. Then you'll be able to make those type of hits. But you can't make those type of hits from these crazy angles like our defenders have tried. You've seen a lot of missed tackles because they're trying to make these absolute do-or-die nutso tackles. And sometimes it's not just the angles being bad. Sometimes there's a clear lack of speed and talent between some of our defenders and some of the talent they're playing. Even against Ole Miss and Missouri. Some of those guys, Luther Burden, until Harold Perkins got on Luther Burden, it was going to be just like an all-nighter for Luther Burden. He could have put up, seriously, 350 yards on us in that game if it wasn't for Harold Perkins being put on Luther Burden and shutting him down. So you got to give Matt House credit for that. That was a brilliant little wrinkle there. We are sponsored and brought to you by Relief Med, reliefmed.com. Get your relief today. The #1 dispensary in Louisiana. The #1. Get your relief today. Louisiana's #1 pain relief headquarters, all natural pain relief headquarters. Reliefmed.com, right down there. Go check out their website. See if you can qualify, and I'm sure you will. I think most adults probably would qualify with a lot of these things. But there's a questionnaire, I believe. There's a thing to fill out very quickly, and they will get in contact with you with somebody. But yes, mounting injuries ahead of this game. You got Wingo out. Big time force, is he going to play? Will he not play? I'm going to say he's going to play. I don't know how long he's going to play for. I don't know like how many snaps. I don't know what kind of effect he'll have, but if you have Mekhi Wingo on the field, he's going to be effective for you rather than not. He's going to still at least draw double teams. This is an All-American from last season as well. Someone who's really been damn good for LSU. Never really put a foot wrong. You got to have him on the field. I believe this bye week, this injury recovery period here for this bye week came perfect. He didn't really play against Army. He played like 20 snaps or something, which was probably still too much, knowing what problem he had. Come on, guys, don't even play him. But maybe there's I want to play every game thing. Okay, 2 snaps, boom, come out of the game. But he played 20 against Army. And we'll see. We'll see. Emory Jones as well, offensive line. We're talking so much about defense, but will Emory Jones be able to play in this game? Emory Jones has been probably LSU's best offensive lineman this season. Charles Turner, you can make that argument. Will Campbell, of course, you can always make the argument. But Emory Jones, will he be able to participate? I say yes. I think Lance Hurd, there's always that option, though, for him to come in and play. Lance Hurd, Lance Hurd was incredible. 59 snaps, just one pressure when he came in and played against Auburn for an injured Emory Jones. Just looked so at ease. Still, I don't want to go into this game without Emory Jones. And luckily, I don't think we will. I think Emory Jones is going to be okay. Wingo, I think we need to worry more about. And I think we need to worry more about Zy Alexander. I think the defensive side of the ball, we just cannot afford any injuries. Offensive line, we could probably win this game still without Emory Jones, possibly, because of what we've seen from Lance Hurd. But remember, Lance Hurd is still a freshman. And Emory Jones, I'll take his experience in this game against Alabama over Lance Hurd any day of the week. Emory Jones has been incredible for LSU. He's been a pillar for LSU. And so losing him ahead of this game would be tough. How has his injury progressed? I've heard that you don't really have to worry much about Emory Jones, that he will be playing and he will be fine. He will be, maybe 80, 75%, 65%, somewhere in that, you can tell he's not at his best, but he's still playing well, kind of territory. We'll see how long that can last. Alabama has some damn good guys on defense who can really pressure the quarterback from all different sides, and that's what worries me. That's what worries me is guys like Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell both have over 30 pressures each. Turner with 37, Braswell with 33. They have 17 combined sacks from Turner and Braswell. So those are two guys that just freak me out as guys who could get shots on Jaden Daniels. Both have 6 and 8 hits as well on the quarterback. Plenty of hurries that could just do a lot of good for Jaden Daniels. If he does a lot of film study, he can understand where they're going to attack him, their different points of attack, and he'll be able to navigate the running game for himself around those pressures. They can even draw up some plays that kind of set up the protections that kind of play the way they like to pass rush right into our hands. But, back to the real subject, Emory Jones, Mekhi Wingo, Zy Alexander, 3 starters that you might be, not out with, but they might just be at 50%. You might need those guys in behind to really carry us through this game. So for me, you've got to have an all hands on deck mentality in this game. Just like if it was game 7 in the World Series or something where you use all these different pitchers, it's going into extra innings, all these rain delays, all this crazy shit. Like all hands on deck. If you're a Tiger and you belong here, you better prove it against Alabama. Like that's the type of game it is. And, like a guy like Ryan Yates, he has many different capabilities, versatilities for this defense. If we need him at corner, use him at corner if he's the right matchup. If we need him at nickel, use him at nickel if he's the right matchup. If we want to have him in back at safety, move Andre Sam to nickel even. Let Andre Sam get more shots at the quarterback or be more of a contained guy closer to the line of scrimmage so he doesn't get burnt so much down the field. And then you have a guy like Ryan Yates, Sage Ryan, who are better at least taking tackling angles in the secondary. So that's interesting to me as well. If you moved Sam to nickel, if Alabama weren't, because Alabama's not some pushing the ball down the field nonstop team. Don't get it twisted. Just because they have some good big name receivers, they're not going to be able to really do that with this offense. But against our defense, the way it is right now, they're going to at least go for it. They're going to at least try it, I believe. I think they'd be foolish not to at least test our secondary and how well they can actually handle. See if they can fold. See if they will fold against a deep ball to Malik Benson early in the game. See if Jeremiah Hughes, if he's out there, can cover. See if Javian Toviano, if he's out there, can cover. See if Ashton Stamps' ankle is okay. Test that ankle, Test Zy Alexander and whatever his injury issue is, if he's out there. That's the thing, is there's a lot of uncertainty. This is the week that is going to decide who is healthy, who's going to be able to play in this game, who's going to have an effect on this game. But just because they're not practicing, I think you can safely say that Emory Jones and Mekhi Wingo both will play in this game. For how long, what type of effect they'll have, I can't really say for sure. We did a interview with Malik Neighbors' mother last night. Yesterday late afternoon, and it is up there on LSUODYSSEY.com on the YouTube channel. But really, go to the site, support the site, like, share, subscribe. Really, love what we were able to do with her, because she is just hilarious. She is just informative. She got so many different great stories that she shared with us. She was very, very, very candid, and this is a very private woman, but we were able to get her to tell us some really cool stories. There's one about how they met Coach Fuse, about how Coach Fuse was a guy that really was pushing LSU, and Malik, connecting those guys, shining a light on how good Malik was. And Malik has proven so many people right who always backed him. There's a lot of people from the bootleggers, Jimmy Smith, people like that, who always backed Malik to the hilt. Well, they look right. And just like she said in the show, we were early on that train too. We were literally calling for him to start as a freshman. And we were talking to Tanya clear back then. That's how long we've been talking to Malik and to Tanya. Tanya the most, though. And it's been an incredible ride, ups and downs from that family. But now you're seeing there not be anything in Malik's way as he goes aiming full bore for the Biletnikoff and for national championships and all sorts of stuff. He's got it right there. Got it right there in his sights. Anyway, I have to go pick up my son real quick. If you want, I can continue the show. If not, we can put it live on an intermission pause while I pick up my son Sage. If we do that, fill up the comments section. I'll come back, see what's up. If not too many people are around, or if there's a ton of people around, cool, we'll continue it. But I just really wanted to cover some of LSU's injuries and just some kind of concerns I had ahead of this game, and just, chop it up with some people. Jamer, always awesome seeing you there in the comment section. You're always here. Thank you. Why give the enemy a head start? Jamer saying that about not revealing the location of players' injuries. Yes, it's ridiculous if you were to. So pay attention to if someone does. Obviously, there's times where, like, the guy gets hit right in the knee. It's like, it's obviously he has a knee injury, something like that. Like, the guy gets smashed in the knee. Like, we're wondering what type of knee or leg injury. Like that, okay. Or, like, he gets a head thing and you see him go out. Like, okay, we're wondering if that's a concussion. That makes sense to me. That's okay. That's fine. But it's still a little iffy, the whole HIPAA violation stuff. But, yeah, I'm going to pick up Sage. He's only 5 minutes away. Get him settled in here. Give us a second, and we'll come back in. And if people are here and want to continue the show, we'll do another one and continue the show. But we've been presented here by ReliefMed.com. Get your relief today at ReliefMed.com. Check them out. Louisiana's #1 #1 all natural pain relief. Thank you, everybody. See you in a second.